Vegas Golden Knights, come on down. You're the winner of the Bruce Cassidy sweepstakes. We're going to talk about the new coach for the Vegas Golden Knights and much more coming up on today's episode of Locked On NHL, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Happy first day of the Stanley Cup Finals. You're listening to or watching Locked On NHL, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we bring you all the latest, greatest news about the NHL to your favorite podcast platform or YouTube 5 days a week. My name is Sarah, host of Locked On Kings, one half of Western Conference Wednesday here on Locked On NHL. I'm joined by Jess, host of Locked On Calgary Flames, my other half of Locked On Western Conference Wednesday here on the show. And for it being a part of the season where the only hockey being played is the Stanley Cup Final, there's a bunch of stuff going on because Bruce Cassidy was unemployed for like 6 hours, it feels like, before Vegas snatched him up, which is basically like my worst nightmare because now they have a coach who's good. We'll talk about him. We'll talk about the other coaching vacancies because there's some movement and rumors out there. And then, of course, we'll look at the Stanley Cup Final, which kicks off tonight between the Tampa Bay Lightning looking to three-peat versus the Colorado Avalanche looking to finally climb that mountain, insert other Avalanche jokes here, to win the big prize. But let's start with Bruce Cassidy, who was unceremoniously dumped from Boston for secret reasons, I guess. And
we can do a whole episode on that, but that's not Western Conference Wednesday.
And now Vegas has him. And I was really hoping, like, we've talked about the coaching vacancies before on the show, and I was like, there is so much potential here for teams to screw this up. But because you have Bruce Cassidy, you have Barry Trotz out there on the market, both very good coaches, very well respected, have dragged teams to respectability that like really weren't particularly that good. And did it anyway. And I was like, someone is going to screw this up. Someone is going to do this real bad. And I was really hoping that Vegas would have screwed it up, but they didn't. They did a good thing.
I am just really annoyed that it's Vegas. I wanted it to be a team in the East so bad from like my own selfish reasons, like being like hosting the Flames show. So like I didn't have to deal with Bruce Cassidy, but also as a Bruins fan, I wanted him just like in their face, like all the time, just saying, that's embarrassing. I wrote this playbook and now you're stuck with, I don't even know who they'll hire, but it's just, we thought Vegas was a problem before.
Yeah.
And I never wish the downfall of anyone's career. But Bruce Cassidy, can you just suck at coaching? Like, I don't have money to like bribe you. But I can give you a really good persuasive speech. Like, I got an A in that in public speaking for a reason. And I host a podcast for a reason. Again, all of these things happen when while I'm napping. Zane left One Direction when I was napping. Kyrie Irving gets traded to Boston while I'm napping. Something else happened. I think Mookie Betts happened while I was napping as well. And now Bruce Cassidy going to Vegas happens when I'm napping. And I was truly hoping it was a fever dream.
Yeah, no. I mean, the moral of the story here is, I guess you can't take naps anymore while like sports are a thing.
You know what? Everyone else can suffer. I need my nap. I'm happy for him. I think that this will be a good fit. I think it's going to be exciting to watch, especially, I mean, Jack Eichel finally has like a true competent coach, which scares me.
Yeah.
But I think, coaching like Alex Pietrangelo, who he lost the Stanley Cup to, is going to, like, these guys are so professional and so, like, oh, whatever. Like, it's not going to
Yeah,
be like this weird bad blood because they've clearly both moved on to different teams.
right.
But
It's
I'm
still gonna
in,
be,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm interested to see how the dad enough thing
Mhm.
plays out this offseason, which is another offshoot. But it's Vegas. I truly think anything can happen there.
Yeah, and I feel like with Bruce Cassidy, I feel like Vegas kind of plays to at least, and you following the Bruins much more than I do probably can
Mhm.
tell me if I'm full of crap or not. But like, I feel like everything that I've seen and heard from people is that like he giving him a team that has a very strong like veteran group is really going to play to his strengths. Like it's not a rebuilding team. It's not a team that is, incorporating 7 new young players. It's a team of guys who been there and they know what they're doing as much
Right.
as like, it's frustrating to see Vegas somehow get everyone on their
Yeah.
roster because of magic.
I think that him having like you said, this established group will absolutely
Mhm.
help him. And I think of what he did in even the last 3-4 years in Boston
Mhm.
with Chara, David Krejci, Bergeron, and like Marchand being considered like a veteran and like an older guy,
Right?
and even
Weird.
David Pasternak, who was like 25, being considered a veteran, but whatever. Like that group
Yeah.
is just so you watched it and it became special and it became just this the team finally had like a true identity and he did I think that he coached the young guys pretty well.
Mhm.
A lot of people will say like, oh well, like this one didn't develop well. That's not on Bruce Cassidy. That is literally
Right.
on where they're playing in Providence in the AHL.
Mhm.
But I think that Vegas is definitely going to be a problem again.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to kind of just say, oh well, like they're always going to be a problem, but now they have a coach who
Mhm.
number one knows what it takes to win, knows what it takes to get to the Stanley Cup, and can just play to everyone's strengths. And I I wouldn't expect there to be too much like line shaking up because one thing with him is the consistency, but
Mhm.
if like someone's out or hurt or whatever, he's not afraid to double shift players.
Mhm.
So we'll have to see if they're up to par with their conditioning for for that,
Surprise, good luck.
right?
Well, we'll take a little bit more of a look at what's going on with the coaching situation and Vegas and all of that coming up in just a second. But first, my car, when I go and drive it, is making a really weird rattling noise. And cars aren't supposed to do that. I'm no mechanic, but I know that like there's noises that they shouldn't make. And this is one that it shouldn't make. And it makes me really wish that I could diagnose said rattle because then I could easily go online to rockauto.com and get the parts I need to make it not rattle anymore. Because let me tell you, it's real annoying to have my window down and then this like rattle noise. Don't like it. Rockauto.com makes it super easy to find all the parts that your car could ever need. And the greatest thing is the prices are always reliably low. So why spend 30%, 50%, even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership, place you walk in off the street? Go to rockauto.com. Help support a family business. They've been serving customers online for over 20 years. So they have been around for the long haul and are here to serve you, the customer. They have everything you could possibly need for your car, inside, outside, motor oil, carpet, whatever it is. You can go and find it on their website. So go and explore their easy to use site today. You can just put in the make, the model, the year of your car, and it'll tell you exactly what they have. And maybe if your car rattles like mine, you can find the part to fix it. So go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or your truck. Right, locked on in the How Did You Hear About Us box so that they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. The other thing that I was thinking about Vegas and Bruce Cassidy and like, oh man, now Vegas has a coach that's good and like great, cool, is you mentioned it already with the Dadanov situation. Vegas still has money problems they're going to have to solve. And so like as good as Bruce Cassidy is, Vegas still, and like, I think that will probably make, people have already, despite all the drama with Vegas, I feel like
Mhm.
players still kind of look to it as a destination now. Um, but, you can't ignore the rumors of, players being treated poorly. I mean, the whole
Right,
Dadonov thing, Fleury, like just name a guy who had been traded there from like without knowing that he was going to get traded.
right.
Um, you know, Bruce Cassidy is a great coach, but he's only going to be able to take that team as far as management is like. He has to work with the team he's given, and if they like have
That's
those
what
weird
confuses
conflicts,
me.
yes,
That's what mainly confuses me about this decision, because the Bruins front office just had this weird thing where they only signed old men and overpaid them. And I'm sorry, but you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. Sure, a guy who's like 28, 29 and like entering his prime or whatever, and then, oh, before you know it, he's on the wrong side of 30, and you're like, oh, we should trade him for a bag of pucks. That is Don Sweeney's music. He will overpay them. And it kind of sounds like Vegas's front office is just, they don't know what they're doing. They don't look at like their budget. I mean, I don't know how people calculate things. They probably don't have a spreadsheet or a little notebook, but they, it just feels like there's a lot of chaos and uncertainty there. And
Mhm.
especially, like, I'm sorry, if someone offered me a job in coaching in an organization that traded away their goalie, I would be like, I need to sit on this. Because what are you going to do to me after I was just
Mhm.
backstabbed by my own general manager and president? Like, I
Yeah.
just, weird vibes, but
Yeah, just very it makes you wonder, like, there has to be a, like, coach whisper network,
there has to.
it's like, did Bruce Cassidy pick up his phone and call, Gerard Gallant and be like, "So, bud," like, did he call Pete DeBoer? Like, do they know
Right.
each other? I mean, Pete DeBoer deserved to get fired, like, he's
Yeah.
not really a good sorry, Pete DeBoer, but sorry. Um, there's a reason why everyone is like, "Oh, Dallas might hire him? Good luck," like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just fade into
but
the background. It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, it's fine. But yeah, it's like, obviously, I would expect he did his like due diligence and like it's a great opportunity. Everyone like for all the problems that like we see Vegas having, like people still want to go there. So I
Right.
mean, yeah, if I were a hockey coach, I'd be like, okay, sure. But yeah, I mean, you have to that the target is on your back like, immediately. Like
Right.
there's already like Twitter jokes of like, yeah, he's gonna get fired when Vegas goes like 4-5-1 to start the season or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, I don't know. I'm hoping that front office people did some like professional development and have like worked on their communication skills and things like that, because I don't know. Maybe it's because I've worked in so many toxic work environments. I like can't give what we hear like the benefit of the doubt,
yeah,
but I am very interested to see how this goes, because Vegas is still like a fairly new team and they've been through quite a few coaches.
yeah, yeah, which
So I
is
don't think that the front office is afraid to pull the trigger and say, okay,
yeah.
like you're gone.
Yeah, I saw someone on Twitter pointed out the fact that the only coaches remaining in their jobs since Vegas came into existence are Jared Bednar with Colorado,
Wow.
John Cooper with Tampa, and Mike Sullivan with Pittsburgh. That's it. Every other coach has turned over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Musical chairs, but with coaches.
Right?
My God.
Yeah.
That's astonishing.
Yeah.
That's wow.
Yeah.
I don't
And
even
like,
know.
yeah. And I feel like whenever I saw that, I was like, no, that can't be true. But yeah.
Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. And of course, like we still have, there Vegas is the only one who's solidified a new coach. We
Yeah.
keep hearing that Philadelphia is close to coming to a deal with John Tortorella, which is hilarious. Um, Pete DeBoer keeps getting linked to Dallas for some reason. We keep hearing Barry Trotz to Winnipeg, but like that hasn't even like that's just out there.
Just talk. Yeah.
And I feel like I think it was like Elliot Friedman maybe who said that we're Edmonton. We're looking at them like Jay Woodcroft was still their interim coach. They didn't make him official head coach yet, and they're like dragging their feet on it. And I'm like, it's not their fault that they just got like shellacked by Colorado. Right. That's not Jay Woodcroft's fault. And if they don't hire him,
someone else will.
Yeah, lots of teams are going to pick up, even if they bring him on as, because I don't think he has a ton of head coach experience. I know he was great in Bakersfield in the AHL. Even if he jumps somewhere as like an assistant coach or something, but like that guy dragged that team a lot further. And again, he did it with Connor McDavid, 50% of Leon Draisaitl, and some guys.
Right.
Like, I'd hire him.
Right. And the fact that he was able to get the secondary scoring going for Edmonton, I don't know why you don't slap down a contract.
Yeah, immediately.
On his desk. And I understand that he had back surgery recently as well, which was why he was standing in his post-game press conferences. So, like, are you just, like, dragging it out to be like, okay, like, are you good to coach?
Right.
I don't know.
Stand there. I don't know.
All you have to do is stand. It's fine.
Right.
Like, get some Dr. Scholl's and Souls and we can, listen, if they can help me, this is not sponsored, but if the Walmart version of Dr. Scholl's can help me get through an 8-hour Black Friday shift and Candle Day at Bath and Body Works, put them in all the coach shoes. They're great. But like, I don't know why it would be so Edmonton of them to let him go.
Yeah.
Like they should keep him in the organization in some capacity because he is very knowledgeable and talented. Clearly, like he knows what he's doing, but I don't know. It would just be so Edmonton of them to just be like, I think we're gonna pass.
So weird.
And then
everything is so weird.
Is Joel Quenneville like actually in talks with teams of coming back? Like, is this just kind of like people stirring the pot?
I feel like that's pot stirring.
Okay.
Because I mean, they definitely like. Again, I don't trust Gary Bettman much further than I could throw him, but like, did come out very publicly and say like, listen, if Joel Quenneville wants to work in hockey again, like, he's got to talk to me. Do I think that conversation will be a sham? Yes. But like, there haven't even like, I feel like Joel Quenneville going to a summit with Gary Bettman is something that would get out. Like people would know about that.
The same way we know about Connor McDavid cheating. Someone would film this. Like we live in a world with cell phones. Everything is caught on camera or someone tweets it. Like if it's not Elliot Friedman, it's some random burner account.
Yeah, it's Elliot Friedman, random burners, and now apparently Kevin Weeks, who just filmed videos from like his. I
fully expect Kevin Weeks to announce the Johnny Gaudreau extension, like from like scuba diving lessons or something. Be like, "Hey guys, it's Kevin Weeks here." Like,
right with the camera view,
right? Like,
I do love that he's leaned into it. Like,
I love it. It makes me so happy, and he's another guy that I think could go into a general manager position.
Yeah.
But man.
Like at least someone is breaking all this news like actually fun and not just like sources say like at least he's making it entertaining. So
which is what we need because
good job, Kevin Weeks.
Right. Thank you, Kevin Weeks, because you're pretty neat and I like you.
Love it. Well, let's talk about the Stanley Cup final. But before we do that, I believe you have some cool stuff to tell us about.
I do. And as always, when talking about BetOnline, please gamble responsibly. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your sports betting stats and info. Find all the latest sports developments, news, and odds, including the NBA final matchup, the Stanley Cup final, Major League Baseball, and of course, MMA and UFC fighting, down to boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and actions. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Speaking of the game starting, we've got game 1 of the Stanley Cup final tonight. Tampa, Colorado, kicking it off. I'm afraid.
I'm afraid because this is like the first time in recent memory where it is actually the two best teams in the league.
Mhm.
And I talked about this on Locked On Flames today, but I enjoy hockey because you truly never know what can happen. And, Tampa is in its NBA era. It's Golden State Warriors, like all this nonsense. Like, no, I'm not having fun with this. This isn't fun. That's why I'm pulling for Colorado because we need to shake it up. We need to kind of get back to the randomizing of the cup final.
Yeah, this is going to be, pretty much everyone is already pulling out, like, which series are these going to be comparable to? Like, this is legit going to be one of the best, if not the best, Stanley Cup final that we have seen in years. I am a little afraid that somehow it's like something dumb is going to happen and it's not going to like live up to the potential everyone has put on it, which will make me really sad. But I haven't watched much of the rest of the playoffs. Like, I've watched a little bit, but there's I don't need to see Edmonton. It's fine. But I'm excited to tune into these because these are two teams that I think are like going to be really evenly matched. I feel like these are both going to be very close games. I don't feel like we're going to get these like 7-6 blowouts or craziness that we saw with the Colorado Edmonton series. Like,
if we do, I would be absolutely shocked because Andrei Vasilevsky just doesn't do that.
Yeah. And of course, like, we're already like, we saw the same narrative with the Rangers and how people were like, oh, like, they haven't played a real goalie yet, blah, blah, blah. But now people are like attaching that same narrative to Colorado, which I think is really funny because Colorado's a legit good team. But like, there is some merit in it in that, like, they played Nashville, who had UC Saros and Rittich.
No, UC Saros was out.
Oh, that's right. They just had Rittich
they had David Rittich,
who and the other guy.
Stop a beach ball.
Yeah, and Connor Ingram played.
Yeah.
That's right. I blocked all that out. But yeah, so they didn't have their starter. St. Louis kept going back and forth between Binnington and Husso. Edmonton has Mike Smith.
Yeah.
So like, I get it, but Colorado's such a good team. I don't think it matters.
And a few months ago, we talked about how deep their team is because it felt like their whole top line and like their middle six were injured and they were still winning. Like, it didn't matter if they were rolling out these AHL players or having to shift their lines up and whatnot, but they were still winning. And is Darcy Kemper healthy? Right now, is he? Like, I truly don't know.
Yeah.
And
well, they're like, Jared Bednar's doing the typical like coach mind games of like, I'm not going to announce a starter, but like the reporters on site, I think, were saying that Darcy Kemper was practicing in what is usually the starter's net in Avalanche's practice. So everyone's thinking he's healthy, but is he healthy or is he Stanley Cup final healthy?
Right, exactly. And same thing goes for Tampa with Braden Point, who I don't know what's wrong with him. But Nazem Kadri's probably coming back. He's he just had surgery. Like, I'm sorry, but no. I don't know. And I get it. It's the cup, like, whatever. But it's the same thing we talked about last week. The price of pain.
Yeah.
Go Colorado.
Yeah, right. These are the teams are so. I was just looking. They're very evenly matched, even in terms of like scoring. Tampa's led by Nikita Kucherov, who has 23 points. Colorado is led by Cale Makar, which is always interesting to see a defenseman lead in scoring. But he has 22 points in fewer games, may I say, than
That's right, because they had 2 sweeps.
Yes, which is honestly hilarious.
That's incredible.
Like, they will be very well rested. At least you can say that for Colorado. Like, comparing them versus, I mean, Tampa had the sweep of the Battle of Florida.
That's
which
right.
was
I
kind of
forgot that was a
unfortunate.
sweep.
Yeah. Well, it just sort of happened. That was a very weird series. But, I feel like Tampa has many more guys who are like banged up, uncertain how they're feeling at the moment. Yeah,
But
this is just gonna be.
they're like cockroaches, though, and like the most in like the most complimentary way possible. They're like cockroaches because no matter what injury they have, they go out there and they win, which makes no sense to me because I sleep wrong and I'm dead for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So if they could teach me, as long as it doesn't involve me getting on skates, I'll pay for this, even if it's a pyramid scheme. I'll join just for you, Tampa.
Yeah. And of course, I feel like one of the most interesting / funny tidbits to come out of this series is we have Pat Maroon, who is now going for his potential 4th consecutive Stanley Cup, which, I mean, congrats to Pat Maroon. I obviously, for several reasons, could not do it. But like,
I'm mad about it.
Feels very much like failing upward.
Yes.
Like
that kid in the group project that doesn't do anything but still gets an A. And that's why I'm mad, because I'm the one that does all the work in the group projects.
He hits people. That's something. So, but we have Pat Maroon on the one hand on the Lightning, 4 consecutive finals appearances. We now have Corey Perry on the Lightning. He has been on the last 2 teams that have lost in the final. He played with Montreal and he played with Dallas. So this is like the unstoppable force, immovable, like so one of those statistics is going to have to change. Like either Corey Perry I mean, also the fact that Corey Perry is now going to be in 3 consecutive finals. As a Kings fan, I hate it.
Yeah, that's very, I don't know. The only thing I think about in recent years with Corey Perry is him getting ejected from the Winter Classic within like the first 5 minutes, and him having to do that walk of shame, and everyone making edits and adding the Squidward shoes and SpongeBob and whatnot, and good for him. Obviously, he's had one heck of a career, but I don't care. I don't want you to win. I don't care.
Yeah. I personally, I mean, I've said it before on the show. I think this is probably the 3rd year in a row that I have said that Colorado was going to win the whole thing. And so I'm hoping that this is the year they finally, I don't care what happens to them after this, but it'd be nice. Also, let someone else win. Tampa, you've had your moment in the sun. B, I was I had to watch the Rangers beat several teams that I like for one reason or another. And for what? The least they could have done was go all the way to the final, even though they didn't deserve to be there. Instead, we have the I can't, the narrative, the media explosion, if they do a 3-peat, I've already are they the New England Patriots of the NHL?
No, they can try to be all they want, but no. I'm so over Tampa, and I'm sorry, Tampa fans, if you're listening to this. Please don't come for me in the comments.
They're a very good team.
You're a very good team, and that's why I'm sick of you. But I'm also on the edge of, okay, everybody deserves a trophy. And let someone else have a turn. Yes. I'm very, very happy for you, and you're both great. But enough.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah, sharing is caring, Tampa.
Exactly.
Just remember that as you're playing your games. Well, I'm excited to see this series kick off. Of course, game one is tonight here against with Lightning and the Avalanche. If it goes the distance, game 7 is June 28th. So most likely next week we'll still have hockey to talk about in terms of the Stanley Cup final. But who knows? Who knows? Anything can happen. So I'm excited to follow the series, see what happens, and just root for chaos because that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Chaos. Yeah.
That's our motto here at Western Conference Wednesday.
Pretty much. Yeah. We're always on brand. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thanks, Jess, as always, for entertaining my terrible ideas about hockey. There is, of course, going to be more from us every Wednesday here on the show. There's great content all week long on Locked On NHL. In the meantime, where can folks find you?
You can find Locked On Flames wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, including YouTube. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto and Locked On Flames Twitter feed at LO_FlamesPod.
And of course, you can find me on Twitter at Right Said Sarah. Locked On Kings available on the Twitters at Locked On LA Kings. All shows available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, including this very show, Locked On NHL. Make sure you're subscribed to it. You're getting notifications so you don't miss new episodes, sending links to your friends, tweeting about it, saying nice things. And as always, send us pictures of your pets. We always want to see your cute little pets. That is it for today from us here on Locked On NHL. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Locked On NHL, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.